Hi guys, I thought I'd offer some insight into what you need to know and consider before having a custom guitar built for you. The big things in my mind are that you need to do the homework, right? So you need to try a bunch of different guitars, figure out what works for you, why certain guitars work, why they don't, what the specs are. So it might be helpful to own a lot of guitars first. The next thing is you need to have a builder who you're kind of simpatico with in your beliefs about guitar constructions. If you want a Gibson 335 style guitar built for you and you're getting a builder who only likes to build solid body Telecasters, don't be shocked if you're not happy with that. So it'd be better to go with someone who really is excited about that kind of a design philosophy. The other part of this is you also need a builder or at least a friend who can offer insight into solving certain problems for you. So for example, on my acoustic build, I liked the warmth of mahogany back and sides, but mahogany didn't have the sparkle of rosewood, so we looked into using Chellee, which is a cousin of mahogany, which has some of the sparkle of rosewood, but the mid-range of mahogany. And that's not a wood I would have normally used, but Peter has good insight into that. So I took his advice, and his advice is always dead on. So that's where people go wrong a lot of times, is they might not really know what they want, and a luthier will make a suggestion, and it's not really right, and then they're not happy with the guitar. But I think the best way to walk through how I ended up where I was to give you kind of a rundown of how my gear developed with my tastes. So I was always really big into developing my own sound. So rather than trying to chase a Van Halen thing or a Satriani thing, I wanted elements of a lot of different high gain lead players for my lead sound, but I was never thinking about copying anyone. It was the ideal, amalgamation of different things I liked about different players' voice on the instrument. So my first real instrument was a Fender Mexi Strat, and it was great and everything, but I quickly realized that I would really like to use the bridge pickup for soloing, but a single coil just didn't cut it for me. Anyway, I put a Steve Vai Evolution pickup in the bridge, and it was cool, but I was expecting it to sound really different. And I realized that the Strat still had snap to it, even though it was fat and humbuckery, right? And so that was the first, aha moment that the woods made a difference. And so maybe that would need to be changed. Also, I started to realize the pickup was way too hot. So I kind of realized I probably don't like ceramic magnet pickups. They have too much compression. I don't like the pick attack, and the output's more than I'm looking for. So I kind of learned that in that guitar. Shortly towards the end of high school, I got an Ibanez S series as a backup for the Fender, and almost immediately I realized that it was going to be the number one guitar. That guitar had a humbucker, single humbucker configuration, and it had bolt-on maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, jumbo frets, mahogany body, and that was the aha moment that, wow, okay, if I replace the poplar body with mahogany, I get the fatness I'm looking for, and I get the clarity in the high end, but it gets rid of the snap, so it gives me this great singing sort of voice on the instrument. The other thing is, it had a flatter radius and a thinner neck, wider string spacing, bigger frets. So that was an aha moment of, oh, wait a minute, this is like everything that I really wanted the Strat to do. So you start checking off boxes as you have experience and your playing develops with an instrument. Even stupid little things like the tone knob didn't have very much range on that guitar, and so we took a look at it, and it had a 250K tone pot, and we replaced that with a 500, and I had much more usability of the tone pot, and the guitar got a little bit clearer. So every little tiny specification as I went on in my career as a player, I realized what I liked. Now, how did I end up at a custom guitar? Well, my friend Peter, who runs Chellee Guitars, was my luthier from the time I was 15, and so he always did amazing work. And I saw some of like these guitars. So we had a prototype of this guitar, lights, right? Cool. Had a prototype of that at the shop he was working at, hanging on the wall, and it was like, what the heck is that? And so little by little, we'd hang out, and I would try the instruments, and I still had it in my mind that I was an Ibanez player, but at a certain point, I was ready to dish out a lot of money to get the highest end Ibanez S guitar. The only problem is, I'm not a 24 fret guy. I like 22 frets, and I wanted a guitar that had 22 frets and had a fixed bridge, And the problem is a lot of companies, if you're looking for a mahogany-bodied guitar with a fixed bridge and 22 frets and a flat, a really fast neck, they're catering to guys that want whammy bars and 24 frets. So you almost couldn't find that. So, and Ibanez didn't make a guitar at the time that had that configuration and the same like Wizard 2 neck. So I was looking at having Peter do serious work to modify, a Prestige S guitar. And at that point, Peter was like, hey, dude, I can just build you a guitar for cheaper. And so I went ahead and pulled the trigger and we did that. And the cool thing about having a luthier you trust is, Peter said, okay, I'm not going to do the neck exactly the same. I'm going to improve upon it. Do you trust me? I said, okay, let's do it. So a lot of the Ibanez's have sort of like 16-inch radius fingerboards. On these guitars, we go with a 10 to 16 compound radius, which was a huge improvement. And then he did things like, instead of a D neck, it's sort of like a Wizard 2 through the center and a Wizard 1 on the side. So it has a very slight C. And these are all things that, because I trust them, I knew it would be awesome. And they're just the best guitars for what I want to do vocally on the instrument. So for me, it's been a good thing. But, he has had clients that have had guitars that it didn't end up sounding good because they didn't listen to his advice or they didn't know what they wanted. So there was a customer that that had a guitar that was the body of the guitar was solid spruce because he was an acoustic player and he wanted the guitar to look like an acoustic. And that was one of the least sustaining, worst sounding guitars we've ever heard. And Peter knew it wasn't going to be good, but that's what the customer wanted, and he was adamant about it. And he tried to talk him out of it, but that's how that works. There have also been customers that said, hey, we'll just build the neck the way you like it. And that customer didn't have enough experience with different guitars, and maybe 5 years down the line realizes, ooh, I don't want a fast neck, I want a big V neck, and Peter had to charge them to build a new neck. So those are the things that happen. And so I think a lot of the players that are dissatisfied with their custom builds online that you hear about all the time is they didn't have the experience in knowing what they really liked on the instrument. And maybe they went with an exotic wood choice that looked pretty that didn't sound as good, rather than going with what they know worked, or trusting the advice of the luthier that might have told them, hey, that wood's really pretty, but I don't think you're going to like that as much. So anyway, you need to do your homework, have the experience. You need to have a builder that believes in what you believe in, and you guys have similar thoughts on what you like about guitars. And you also need someone, whether it's the luthier building it or a friend who can give you advice, that can instruct you on advice when you have questions about possible tweaks to the design and what that might do to the sound and playability. So I hope this has helped you guys make some decisions. Please like and subscribe and click the notification bell. Thanks, guys.